All right, guys, we just got wrapped up with the podcast, and now we're going to actually tour the garage. And the first thing I want to see, tell us about.
So this is the toolbox. So I actually bought this from Craig Lieberman, who was a technical director on Fast and Furious. This is the actual screen-used toolbox in the first Fast and Furious movie. It's signed by Paul Walker on the side over here. And yeah, I mean, you can see in the scene. This is the toolbox here. When they brought the Supra into Dom's garage to kind of build up the 10-second replacement car. So Craig sold this and he posted it up on Instagram, and I literally was just like, done, bought, like I'll take it. And so it's a really cool story how I got it here. So you know, my brother-in-law Daniel is works for me, good buddy of mine, and so Daniel wanted to go out to California for a trip, and I needed to get this from California to here, and I didn't want to ship it.
Yeah,
I didn't want to ship it because it was like, man, how do you ship this?
Yeah,
so we rented a van, and he drove it from California here, and he got pulled over in Texas. And the cop in Texas let him off because he showed the cop what it was in the back seat. He's like, here, look at what I got back here. It's why I'm speeding at home to Florida. And the cop totally let him off because he thought it was really cool that it was the screen used toolbox signed by Paul Walker. So yeah, pretty cool. And it's got the patina. The patina, like it's all literally like I didn't clean it or anything. I just keep it just like it was and just like it is, just to kind of, you know, to maintain it. And I've been offered a lot more than what I bought it for.
Probably same.
But I got it's for me. It's such a cool item. I have no interest in selling it. So yeah,
that is so freaking cool, man.
Yeah,
it's so funny. I have these same like cars in my house and stuff too.
And I'm obviously a huge Fast and Furious fan. I mean, you look at like the entire side of this garage, and it's literally like every single movie poster, and then Hot Wheels collections, and all the sayings from the movie, like Tuna No Crust, and Fast Family, and Ride or Die. It's kind of like the theme of the garage. And I've always been like I was just a Fast and Furious geek. And this is my first, this was my first cool car, my Toyota Supra. I've got the TRD hood, you know, that kind of matches the hero car in the Fast and Furious. It's full bolt-on, about 800 horsepower. You know, it is wrapped orange, so it's black underneath. Redline Design did the wrap. And yeah, I love it. It's iconic. The sounds it makes, the speed, the performance, and it's just 90s JDM. It's such a cool car. It's got all the little noises and takes all the bumps. And I scrape the front lip and have to replace it about once every year.
Yeah, I was gonna say
on a speed bump. Like so, I've got the BC Forged kind of CCW style wheels on it.
Oh, I know.
Got the drag radials on the back, and it's quick. It's fast. It's not my fastest car, but it definitely feels like it because it doesn't have the precision and safety of all the other cars. So going 100 in this is a little scary.
Different.
Yeah, like going 100 in some of my other cars, it's like it feels like you're cruising. Like my Audi, like going 100 in it feels like nothing. 100 in this is like I'm gonna die.
Yeah. You hear every bolt, and you're like, please stay together. Please stay together.
Exactly. So, and then my GTR, which so this is 1400 horsepower. Low 8-second, Alpha 12 Plus, tons of carbon, pretty much everything. That's the highest level Shep transmission, you know, and it's an incredibly fast car, super clean, black, custom paint, carbon hood, you know, the front carbon lip, but yeah, a ton of extra stuff that this has got done to it, and yeah, it's my fastest car, you know, by a good bit.
Yeah.
My 720 is in second place, but this is definitely the fastest. Yeah. So.
Man, this thing is beautiful. You got it shined up too.
Yeah, and it's ceramic coated. It's I definitely, and it's interesting because when I bought it, I hated the red wheels. I was like, I'm getting rid of the red wheels. It's like when I bought it in Texas. I actually drove it home, and I literally said, "There's no way I'm keeping the red wheels. Like they're hideous." And it grew on me. And it's like literally like now I love them.
I like it.
And it's different. You just don't see it. And I think the black and the red, it's like
it's black and red's a good.
It works. It works. You know. So, but when I first, you know, when I first bought it, I was definitively going to wrap the car and change the wheel color, and I just never did. And now I actually am contemplating wrapping it and changing the wheel color, but not because I don't like them. It's just because it's kind of something different. So just kind of wanting a different, like I love the car. It's just, like maybe mix it up because I've wrapped other cars. And, so I might end up wrapping it. We'll see. And if I wrap it, then the red wheels would probably get changed. Either changing them out or changing the color. So, and then my truck. Oh, and I'll get to the wagon, but this is my American muscle right here. Just like Jared's got his NASCAR. This thing's got a big bobbing cam, a great big blower. This thing's a beast, and it's always in the shop though, unfortunately. So this is the redneck version of me. This is the part that stays true to where I grew up. Kind of in the Midwest.
Man, I love it. Side is awesome.
This is my American muscle, and obviously another vehicle that a red one was in the Fast and Furious, which was the very first time I ever saw one of these trucks. Was when Paul Walker drove it as the parts truck in Fast and Furious. So yeah, this is you will see this all over, and this will be the car that if you see me broken down, it'll be this one because it breaks. It literally everything on this truck breaks. So
now.
The wagon is pretty cool.
I was going to say.
So this is my JDM wagon is my plate, right? And so this is
only true car guys.
Yeah, so this is a Nissan Stagea, okay, which shares a drivetrain with the Nissan Skyline. This has an RB25. It's a right-hand drive. It has the GTR wheels, GTR brakes, R34 front clip, which was all actually done in Japan. So I bought it from a guy in Texas that had all the work done and imported it. And I bought it, it's been like probably a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. So it was before you would regularly see like R34 GTRs here, so you couldn't get them here. And so my long-term plan is I'll have an R34 GTR here. I have made offers on them and then stuff hasn't worked out, but I will have one. And so my idea was get used to driving on the right-hand side in an automatic, and then get used to driving on the right-hand side in a manual. So a little bit different driving right-hand drive in manual. So that'll be a little bit getting used to, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. So.
This is beautiful.
So yeah, it's pretty cool, and a lot of people. It turns heads. It turns crazy heads, and it wasn't expensive compared to other cars. I bought this for less than $30,000. So people that people go crazy over it for compared to other cars that I've spent a lot more money on. That
it's funny how that works.
And it is my slowest car. It is not fast. They say it's 300 horsepower. The RB25. I don't think it's 300 horsepower. It's maybe like 190 on a dyno on a good day. 0 to 60 in a bike.
Perfect weather. 30 degrees outside.
It does make some cool noises. Like you get a little bit of blow off from the turbo.
Yeah.
And, but it's kind of a cool fun little daily car just to have something different. So
my wife would love this.
Yeah, it's cool. It is definitely cool. And then the Audi. So
these wheels.
Yeah,
man.
My RS6. So this is like my luxury family. This is basically an exotic killer wagon. Has the same power plant as the Lamborghini Urus. It's got an APR tune. It's got Eventuri intake, BC Force wheels. For my friends at Induction Performance, I'll give them some props. Yep. So they're a BC Forge distributor. So yeah, it's Nardo Gray, and I bought it when you still don't see a ton of them.
No.
But I got it. I've had it a couple of years, so it was right when they first came to America.
My favorite color.
Yeah, it's super cool. And again, it really is kind of the best of all worlds. It's twin turbo V8 with an increase in boost. So this thing is wicked fast and super luxurious. All-wheel drive, super luxurious. This is my luxury. This is my luxury vehicle. So I've got sports cars, trucks, JDMs, and if I want something where I just want to not feel bumps, this is it. So yeah. So and then obviously I have a lot of other cool stuff on the walls and. Here's something else I think is pretty cool that not a lot of people necessarily see. It's and again the Hot Wheels wall, like, right? Like I've told people about it, and then I have all this stuff up in here. I don't want to show my goal board because there's some stuff written on it that I don't want to share. But like my Hot Wheels wall is pretty cool. Like I handpicked like all the Hot Wheels cars that I put on there. They're either cars that I've owned, cars that I wanted to own, cars that I was inspired by. There's about 200 of them, and it goes all the way up to the top.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty cool.
This is killer, man.
Yeah.
This is absolutely killer.
Yep.
What about the two twins here?
Yeah, so I
What's
got
on
two
there?
twin GTR T-Specs. Honestly, like I bought them kind of as an impulse buy during COVID. They only made like 30 of them, and 30 of them in midnight purple, and I have 2 of them, both delivery miles.
Wow.
They don't really see much. They're really more of a collector kind of thing that I'm just holding on to long term for the day that hopefully they're valued like the R34 M-Spec NERS someday, and they hit the $1 million mark years down the line. But right now I'm just kind of preserving them, and who knows? I'm not really sure what I'll end up doing with them. I've had offers and trade, and different people that have said like, hey, I want to take one off your hands, but like I don't know, like it's
the wrapping on
cool.
the steering wheel.
It still has all the like new everything on it. Yeah.
Man, dude, absolutely beautiful.
And they are beautiful. Yeah, the change from green to black to purple, the color, like outside, the color change is even more impressive outside. When you see like the hit of the color with the sun, it's pretty cool. So
these are definitely skyrocketing now that they're discontinuing.
Yeah.
So.
And then I've got my quote wall, which I think is. Again, it's something. It actually came from my daughter. My daughter in my last house, we had this idea to put motivational quotes on the wall, and I have the same thing in my office. I have a stair foyer at my office where I have all these motivational quotes.
I'm not sure what to do with my hand.
I'm not sure. So I basically picked, like, I went through all the car movies that are in here and like all the car movies I liked, and I just picked like funny quotes or quotes that I was inspired by or quotes that I thought were, just kind of funny, like, tuna no I'll have the tuna no crust. Without disappointment, you cannot have victory. Did Eleanor tell you that from Gone in 60 Seconds? Yeehaw from the Dukes of Hazzard. Still a buster.
I love this. Life's simple. You make choices and you don't.
That's
look
Han.
back.
Han said that in Fast and Furious.
I remember.
I don't have friends. I got family. I think everyone knows that one. And then
soon, Junior.
Too soon, Junior. Could you tell me right quick what would be a better motor for my Skyline, a Gallo 12 or a Gallo 24? So real car people know like all these quotes, right? And
man.
And then of course I have the too soon, Junior.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence.
That's gonna be. I gotta get down.
I've got the Talladega Nights movie poster over here.
There we go.
And then I've got the exotics. So, it's funny because, like I told you, like even when you came here the first time, I didn't have any exotic cars. It was all JDM stuff and import stuff. And so the last few years, I've obviously gotten, I've kind of elevated a little bit and picked up some exotics. And my 1 year goal from now is a newer Ford GT. That's my 1 year goal.
I love that car.
So that to me is like my next. That's reserved for here. So I don't know if one of these will go, something else will go, but a Ford GT is in my future for sure. That's what I want. And to me, it's a combination of exotic as well as being an American car, a turbo car. And it's just such a neat looking car. Yeah. They hold their value well. Yep. They're unique. So I went back and forth for a while between whether or not I wanted a Senna or a Ford GT, and I think I finally just decided the Ford GT. So that's
So you're talking about the newer one.
The newer one, not the old one, not the 0506. Nothing wrong with the 0506 because they're pretty sweet too. Yeah. But the more expensive one, it's like sub $1 million for like the right spec. So that is a 1 year goal for me is a Ford GT.
Nice.
So
we can't wait to see it.
Ferrari 458, tons of carbon. It's got the natural aspirated V8, which is the probably one of the last naturally aspirated Ferraris now that they've gone turbo with everything. I just love the sound of this car. It is compared to a lot of my other stuff. It is not that fast, but it sounds so amazing. Like it just does. And it's a Ferrari. It's iconic. So I mean, you know what you're getting when you're in a Ferrari. And to me, it's also one of the Ferraris that does well financially. They hold their value now. They're over 10 years old, and so they've kind of they've been done depreciating, so now you can have this as a nice toy, and it's really not, you're not going to lose money on it.
Yeah.
And then my 720, which is probably super wild, right? Like this is like
the color.
Basically, it's funny. Like you did the Chat GPT thing the other day.
Yeah.
Make fun of my car.
Did you do it on this?
Yes, I did. And it was basically like you couldn't be trying any harder to get someone to look at your car. It was basically destroying me. It was pretty funny.
Oh,
but yeah,
man.
it's got a Celestial unicorn wrap. It's also modified, tuned by M Engineering. On
this thing is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a unique looking car. Obviously, a 720 in general is already spaceship-esque looking, but when I put this wrap on it, it just really brought it out. And I looked for a while because I wanted one with the carbon roof and all the carbon options, and I wanted a coupe. I didn't want a Spider, so this one literally has pretty much every single carbon option that you can
hell
get.
of a job.
Yeah, on the wrap.
The wrap.
Yeah, Redline Design wrapped it, and they took the entire thing apart. So I love them as a wrap shop. They've done all my wraps, and Justin always treats me right. They literally took the entire car apart to wrap it, and the plate, of course, kind of, the UFO.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point of it, right?
This is a bad color.
And it's wildly fast, sometimes scary.
Yeah.
But like with most McLarens, it also has its own little finicky issues and little idiosyncrasies and things that go wrong because they're still a relatively new car manufacturer. But from a performance standpoint and look standpoint, it's just hard to beat for the price. So, yeah, I really enjoy it. It obviously gets a lot of looks and, but I'm certainly not driving it to Chick-fil-A on a regular Saturday. But it does. But it's fun. It's certainly something that. Like as a kid, you look up and you have cars like this as Hot Wheels, and you're like, someday I want something like that, So yeah, definitely a dream come true for me for sure.
This is absolutely beautiful. And then we got a lot of movie posters. So Talladega Nights.
Of course, we got to get your NASCAR here for a photo shoot.
That one feels right there. Oh man! And
I got Initial D.
I love this.
Cannonball Run.
Like it gives me ideas. Like I gotta start hanging.
And it's funny, like when I first built out the garage, I did the floors and I had some of this stuff, and then over time, like there's just been little things I've added, the cabinets, the kind of the brushed aluminum stuff. This I thought was cool because this is from Modena, which is one of the racetracks in Italy.
Yeah.
I actually the very first time I ever drove a 458 was on that racetrack. So on a vacation in Italy, and it was a red one, and full circle, right? So when I raced the Ferrari and I say raced, it was like I didn't really race it. I was paying to take like 5 hot laps, right? Like I don't want to like make people think I'm like racing. I wasn't really racing it, but I paid, and it was the first time I'd ever drove a Ferrari, and it was on that track, and it was literally just like this. So like now having that car, I was like, okay, I want something from that track.
Yeah.
Kind of in the garage
memories,
too.
Man.
Yeah.
As you get older, I think that's all it comes down to is memories, and
experiences,
things that
right?
Back.
Like, well, it's like, and you have those experiences, and it's like you're going to remember them for the rest of your life. So why not have something to help you remember that, right?
Yeah.
So the very first time I drove, the Ferrari for me was there. So it was like, man, I want to kind of like carry that on. That was such an inspirational thing for me because when I drove it, I didn't envision that I would, at that point, that I would get to a point where I would have one, right? I remember driving it and being like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Now I can drive it every day, you know, and like, but at the time I didn't know that I would get to that point. So I was so inspired by driving it that now it's like, now that I have that car similar to the one I drove, I wanted to kind of carry forward the signage from the actual track that I drove it at in Italy. So, which is pretty cool.
I love it. I actually have a picture of me. My grandma's working on getting all these pictures of me in a NASCAR and me in it was Rick Hendricks. It was a red, it was a Ferrari. It was a F.
So probably F355 maybe, F3.
I can't remember. Man, I know it because I liked them.
Like,
and they're relatively like cheap now. They're probably like $100,000.
Yeah,
like
so like 348 or maybe 360, like.
What's the one after the 360?
We went 458. So it was the one in between the 458.
The nicer one than the 360.
I don't know.
Damn, it's right there. Oh man, Vo, help me.
What is it?
Ferrari.
430?
430.
yeah.
That's C-Bone. Ah, there we go.
That's why we got you.
There we go.
That's
F430. That's what it is. It was
Yeah.
a red one. F430. It was
Yeah,
Rick
Doc is
Hendrick's
360,
son.
430, 430.
Yeah. They had it at the dealership. My dad worked at the BMW dealership, and I'm probably like, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And he takes a picture of me. And I was like, you know what would be cool is, I'm not a huge exotic fan, but just to have that car.
Yeah.
Just to
Well,
have that
like
picture,
I told you, for me, the exotic cars for me aren't as cool as the other stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I love having the exotic cars, and I think there's a certain cool factor that comes with,
for sure.
with having them and they're fun and all that. But it's my heart is definitely more with the tuner cars.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy having them.
Yeah.
And I enjoy taking them out, driving them, and certainly going certain places. And it opens different doors. I've certainly met a lot of great people that are either tuner car people or exotic car people from having those cars and having those experiences. And they were dreams of mine. They were, I wanted to get to a point where I could afford those things. And now that I have, now it's, certainly, like I said, the Ford GT is another level, right?
Man.
So
there's this girl that I'm friends with out in Orlando named A Chick Drives It.
I've seen her before. I've seen her.
Really super cool people. We went to their private drift event out there.
Cool.
Had a blast, man. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Drifting, that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
But one of her friends, his name's Hot Egg Breath. I haven't yet met him, but we joke around a lot. And he bought one recently.
Oh, Ford GT?
Ford GT.
The new ones?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I have the buddy in North Carolina in Morrisville that collects Ford GTs. So he's got GT40, Ford GT.
Yeah, I want, and again, not to say that the 05, 06 ones I love too. I'm sure eventually that's in my collection.
Black stripes.
I'm sure there's one of those in my collection in the future. But for me, I wanted truthfully, my idea was that next level car. You know what I mean? These are probably not that far off in terms of value from an 05, 06 GT. And I'm kind of the next level. And it's if you look at those kind of, hypercar, seven-figure-ish cars. It's to me, it was when I looked at all of those cars, that was the one that stood out to me the most, and I like the most. And again, you look at again, I have such a diversity of different brands that I was brand agnostic. It's which one in that space do I like the most, that is a smart investment, that I think would enjoy driving, and that one was the one that stood out. And the McLaren Senna was the other one that was there. But after having been in both of them, the Ford GT was the one that I just kind of fell in love with too.
You never see them out, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
You see there's a couple of them in Tampa, and my plan is a blue one with the carbon wheels, the carbon package, blue, like a royal blue. That's what I want. So I'll be on the hunt for that. My goal is a year.
Nice.
So,
well, remember that. We'll have to come back and see that.
Yeah.
I want to, first of all, dude, the R34.
Yeah.
This is cool, man.
Yeah, and so this is kind of foreshadowing because I will have one.
Yeah, man.
I just and that's obviously Paul Walker's the from the Too Fast, Too Furious. It even has the 2F plate on it. But
awesome.
But yeah, I've shopped. I've been working with a couple different brokers there. I've looked at stuff. And just haven't found the right one. And prices have softened, so they've gotten it's gotten more attractive. And I will eventually have one. It's just
waiting for the right one.
Waiting for the right spec. So
I get it.
I love Bayside Blue, but I also love Midnight Purple. So
yeah. That's
it's going to be one of those two. I won't settle for anything less than one of those two colors. So I'm sure it'll be a V spec. I want the TE37 wheels. It's there's a bunch of stuff I want to find, and some of it I could do obviously I could buy the wheels after the fact, but my hope is to find one that has most of what I want and then customize it with a few tweaks here and there. So
and then I gotta show this off.
Oh, the Days of Thunder, baby!
This is such a special movie.
Cold Trickle.
Everybody thinks I got into cars because of Fast and Furious. It literally amplified what this movie did for me. And Days of Thunder, it was filmed in North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina. We've gone to the barn still. I grew up there. Also, the car, if you read on it, it says City Chevrolet.
Yeah.
That's Rick Hendrick's dealership.
Yeah.
My dad worked there. I'm really good friends with Rick Hendrick. So
that's awesome.
being able to, my wife is like, have you sent him a video or picture of your car yet? And I'm like, I haven't, but I'm going to send it to him. Yeah, I'm going to send it to him.
That's pretty cool.
But I've probably seriously seen this movie like thousands of times. Like legitimately, like if I'm in the garage, I always play a movie. I don't know about you, but I always play a movie when I'm in the garage. When I'm
I play right there all the time. I play movies all the time.
And it's just background noise. And I hear those little quotes and stuff, and I'm like, man. You know, you feel connected, man. Car guys are car guys.
Well, it's interesting. One thing, though, I think we could probably close with as we kind of wrap. When you guys came here and we did like a little pre-meet for Armature Works.
Yeah.
You did like a quick walkthrough video tour, right?
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people in the comments are like saying stuff. There was obviously a lot of encouragement, oh man, what a dream. And then there were people that were like, you know, most of us don't have the opportunity to live. You know, there was a lot of like victim mentality that I saw where people were like, you know, imagine having to being able to live that life. You know, most people are never that guy, you know, like most people are never going to get that or most people don't have the chance to do that. I think you and I kind of testify to the fact that yes, you do. Like you absolutely do. Like neither of us grew up like, man, like we did not grow up with anything. We didn't grow up with a silver spoon. We didn't grow up with money, but it's like we worked our ass off, right? And it's like we got to a point where, we could go and do these things, but this didn't happen overnight. It was 20 years of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into a business and taking risk and hiring people and, you know, and all these things. And like, it really is available. Now, is it going to be easy? No. Is it for everyone? No. But do you have a shot? And I hate when people say that it isn't available to them or they don't have a shot at something, because I just, man, that's just you. Of course, if you start with that, if that's what you put out into the public, then you're right. You don't have a shot. Exactly. If you say things like, you know, I'll never have a chance to live with this, you know what? You're right. You won't. But man, eliminate that. Like if you can say like that's what I want to accomplish someday, or I believe I can get there, then you can. Well, you know, like you really can, but the people like there'll be people that'll look at this garage tour and they'll probably be like, oh, you know, must be nice. 20 years of busting my ass and taking risk and get my ass kicked sometimes, losing money in years, you know,
that's the other,
you know, and
ups
of course,
and downs, thinking you're going bankrupt. I don't know what's going on.
Right, and I think again, it's not for everyone, but it is possible for way more people than give themselves credit for. You know, way more people start off in failure simply because of their own mentality, because they eliminate the opportunity from their own mental mind by labeling that it isn't, that they're never going to have that shot when they totally could have that shot.
Well, I mean, you can look at literally the situation here where I first saw your garage coming to do work. I could have left here and been like, man, must be nice.
Right.
I left here and I was like,
I want that.
I have to have this. Like, why can't this be me?
And now look.
Exactly. Now we're here. Now we're full circle. Another full circle moment.
Now this dude's famous.
Right? Okay. Who would have known? You know? So, man, first of all, I love it, man. I'm happy to be back. It's always good to get together. I know we
man, we got to do it more often. We got to do it more often. I can't wait till you start doing events. I'm in. Like my company, we're in. Okay. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be super fun. I know you're really good friends with Gabe, right? Fast and Furious, the collection, all this stuff. He's like, man, I want to be tied to whatever you're doing.
Yeah, there's so many things, and I've got a relationship with USF, so I think there's some cool stuff that could happen there. So I'm looking forward to helping, man.
So man, that'll be fun, and it's cool to, like you said, the mentality leaving. You're watching it hands on. I could have left and been like, you know, must be nice, but it inspired me, and now we're here, and now we're shooting a podcast, and
man,
hopefully it inspires other people.
If it does just one, then we did our job. Exactly, if we inspire just one person to say, you know what, I want to have what that is, or they want to have, maybe cars isn't their thing, maybe they want something else, whatever it is. But if you inspire just one person, it was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it, guys. I hope y'all really enjoyed the show. Thank you,
Appreciate
Andrew,
you.
man.
Appreciate you.
Yep. It's always been a pleasure. And we stick around because we're going to have a ton of content, man. A lot of content, especially with this NASCAR. So that's it, guys. We'll see you till next time.